When was the last time you truly felt in control? How many times have you promised yourself you'd stay calm only to lose it the moment someone disrespected you? How many nights have you replayed the same arguments in your head wishing you'd said less, or said nothing at all? You call it stress, but deep down you know it's something else, your mind breaking under the weight of everything you let control you. You wake up and scroll before you breathe. You chase validation in silence, likes, messages, a tiny rush that never lasts. You bend your emotions to fit other people's moods. You let fear decide when to speak, anger decide what to say, guilt decide who you should be. And then you wonder why peace never stays. It's not the world that's cruel, it's that you've never ruled the one kingdom that matters, your mind. Here's the truth most people can't handle. No one can hurt you without your permission. Every insult, every betrayal, every failure only wins when you react. The power was never theirs. It was yours. You just kept giving it away. This is your breaking point, not your ending. From this moment forward, your silence will mean strength. Your calm will mean dominance. Your self-control will become your weapon. Start ruling your mind before the world rules it for you. If these words strike something inside you, it's because the truth does that. You're not weak. You're just waking up. Now take a breath, claim your power back, and subscribe. Because the next lesson will teach you how to become untouchable. Why do you let people control your emotions so easily? Why does one rude comment ruin your entire day? Why does silence from someone you care about feel like rejection? You tell yourself you're just sensitive, but deep down, you know what it really is: dependence. You've built your peace on the approval of people who don't even notice when you're falling apart. You think you're reacting to them, but you're really reacting to yourself, to the parts of you still starving for validation. Every time you explode in anger, they win. Every time you over-explain, they learn exactly where to push next. People don't need to destroy you when you hand them the manual. They study your tone, your silence, your eyes until they can predict your next move. And once you're predictable, you're powerless. Here's the truth. No one tells you they never broke you. You broke yourself trying to be understood by them. Your emotions became public property because you never claimed ownership of them. They didn't steal your peace, you gave it away in every desperate attempt to be heard. From now on, you watch, not react. You breathe before speaking. You let the storm pass without giving it your energy. Because when you no longer mirror weakness, the world no longer controls you. Learn to read the game without playing it. Let calmness replace reaction and mystery replace explanation. You are not here to be understood, you are here to be unshakable. If this truth hits something deep inside you, it's because you're ready. Ready to stop bleeding energy on people who never deserved it. Subscribe, and in the next lesson you'll learn the art of controlling perception, so the world sees strength before you even speak. Have you ever noticed how people treat you differently depending on your tone, not your truth? Why is it that the louder you try to prove your worth, the smaller you look? Why do people respect confidence even when it's fake, but ignore honesty when it's desperate? You think the world rewards sincerity, but it doesn't. It rewards presentation. And right now, the image you project tells the world exactly how to underestimate you. You've been trying to earn respect through kindness, but kindness without control reads as weakness. You've been explaining yourself too much, unaware that over-explanation signals insecurity. People don't see your intentions. They see your posture, your tone, your calm. If you walk into a room unsure, the world eats you alive. But when you walk in steady shoulders back, eyes calm, words, few people feel something they can't name: authority. And authority, not emotion, changes how you're treated. Here's the hidden truth: you don't need to change who you are. You just need to control what they see. Perception builds reality faster than truth ever could. The world doesn't judge what's real, it judges what's visible. From this moment forward, you become deliberate. You choose your tone like a weapon, your silence like a crown. You stop performing and start commanding. You understand that calmness is more intimidating than confidence, and mystery is louder than noise. Appear powerful and you will be treated as powerful. Let your energy speak before your words ever do. Remember, power begins in perception, and perception begins in presence. If this resonates with you, you're ready to move beyond truth and into strategy. Subscribe, and in the next lesson you'll learn the discipline of emotional detachment, where silence becomes your armor and control becomes your peace. Why do you let emotions run your life like a tyrant? Why do you keep saying I can't help how I feel as if helplessness were an identity? How many times have you promised to stay calm only to be pulled back into the same argument, the same guilt, the same storm? You say you have a good heart, but the truth is your heart has been running the kingdom while your mind sleeps. And every time emotion leads, peace dies quietly in the background. You've mistaken reactivity for authenticity. You've called your anger honesty, your anxiety care, your fear intuition. But look closer. How many of your choices were made from peace and how many from panic? You think feeling deeply makes you human, but Machiavelli would tell you this: it only makes you predictable. Predictable people are easy to control. They get triggered, distracted, divided, and conquered every time. Detachment isn't apathy, it's strategy. It's choosing when to feel, how much to feel, and for how long. It's learning that not every emotion deserves a reaction. Some deserve silence, others deserve distance. You don't stop caring. You stop bleeding energy on things that don't return value. When you detach, you stop being dragged by the chaos around you. You start watching, analyzing, deciding, not reacting. The same situations still happen, but this time you stay still while everyone else drowns in noise. That stillness is power. You are not your emotions. You are the one commanding them. The world can't manipulate what it can't move. Detachment doesn't make you less human, it makes you unshakable. If this truth hits you where it hurts, it's because you've been giving the world too much access to your peace. Take it back, guard it, rule it, and subscribe, because in the next chapter you'll learn how to expect betrayal and survive it with strategy, not emotion. Why does betrayal hurt more when it comes from the ones you protected? Why do you keep giving people chances even after they've proven who they are? Why do you keep confusing loyalty with love and manipulation with care? You tell yourself you're just too kind. But kindness without boundaries is self-destruction in disguise. You keep bleeding for people who'd watch you die quietly as long as it benefits them. You learned the hard way that loyalty in this world has an expiration date. People stay until your silence stops serving their ego. They praise your strength when it helps them, and they call you cold when you stop giving. But here's the truth. No betrayal happens without access. They couldn't hurt you if you hadn't handed them the knife with your trust. And that's not cruelty to admit, it's clarity. Betrayal isn't always an act of evil. It's just self-interest revealing its face. The world doesn't move by morals. It moves by motives. When loyalty stops being convenient, people shift. You can't stop that. You can only stop being surprised by it. So from now on, expect betrayal not with bitterness but with strategy. Keep your empathy but protect your access. Don't shut down your heart, guard the gates, because the wise don't depend on promises. They depend on preparation. And the one who expects betrayal never kneels to it. You don't need to hate the ones who failed you. You just need to stop giving them the chance to do it again. Let betrayal refine you, not define you. Learn to read patterns, not apologies. If this truth feels like it's cutting deep, that's because it's carving strength into you. Subscribe, because in the next chapter you'll learn how to turn calmness into your greatest weapon of psychological power. Why do you always feel the need to respond? Why do you raise your voice when no one's really listening? Why do you let anger pull you into battles that only drain you? You think you're defending yourself, but you're really proving your instability to people who never cared to understand you. And every time you react, you hand them the remote control to your peace. You've seen it happen. Someone provokes you and you explode. They walk away calm while you stand there trembling with frustration. Later, you replay it whispering, "I should have said less." Because deep down you know the loudest person always looks the weakest. The calm one always wins, not by dominance, but by direction. When you stay silent in chaos, people can't predict you. And unpredictability is power. You thought calmness was passive. It's not. It's psychological warfare. When you refuse to react, you force others to face their own chaos. Your stillness becomes a mirror that exposes their lack of control. And that's why calm people are feared. They can't be manipulated through noise. Start using calmness as a weapon. Slow your tone when they rush. Speak less when they provoke. Hold still when they expect you to break. Because control isn't about suppressing emotion, it's about directing it. And nothing terrifies the unstable more than a person who doesn't flinch. You don't win by shouting louder, you win by thinking slower. Your calmness isn't weakness, it's evidence of mastery. The world respects the one who doesn't react, only responds. If this truth resonates with you, it's because you're ready to stop being controlled by chaos and start controlling yourself. Subscribe now, because in the next chapter, you'll learn how silence becomes the ultimate language of power. Why do you talk so much when no one really listens? Why do you explain yourself to people who've already decided what to believe? Why do you keep defending your peace to those who profit from your chaos? You think speaking clears your name, but every word becomes evidence against you. And every time you explain, you lower your power. You've spent years believing that communication fixes everything, but you're learning that silence fixes what words never could. Because when you stop defending yourself, people start questioning themselves. Your silence makes them uncomfortable. It forces them to face the echo of their own guilt. The loud demand attention, the quiet command it, and in a room full of noise, the one who speaks least is the one everyone studies. Silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. It's the space where observation replaces reaction. It's how you learn what others are hiding while keeping your own mind unreadable. People can't predict what they can't decode, and fear always grows in the unknown. You don't owe anyone your words. You don't owe explanations, apologies, or justifications to people committed to misunderstanding you. From now on, let your stillness speak for you. Let your calm unsettle them. Let your silence become your loudest answer. When you master silence, you master control. You become the question no one can answer, the mystery no one can manipulate. Power doesn't scream, it waits. If these words resonate, it's because you're done wasting breath proving your worth. Take back your energy, protect your peace, and subscribe, because in the next chapter you'll learn the art of strategic absence, where your distance becomes the loudest statement of all. Why do you keep showing up for people who stopped noticing your presence? Why do you keep giving your time to those who drain it without gratitude? Why do you fear being forgotten when the truth is they only remember you when you're gone? You've been taught that constant availability equals love, loyalty, and strength. But it's not strength, it's surrender. And every time you make yourself too accessible, you lose value in their eyes. You've seen it before. The moment you stop texting first, they suddenly remember your name. The second you stop explaining yourself, they start asking questions. That's the psychology of presence. It becomes powerful only when it's scarce. Because mystery feeds respect and absence creates gravity. People don't crave what's always available. They crave what they think they're losing. Strategic absence isn't disappearing out of pride. It's stepping back with purpose. It's leaving space for curiosity to grow. It's the art of letting distance do the talking. When you vanish intentionally, your silence begins to echo louder than your presence ever did. From now on, stop begging to be seen. Withdraw not out of anger, but calculation. You are not abandoning the world, you are observing it from higher ground. Let your absence test the loyalty of those around you. Because the ones who truly value you will reach out. The rest will reveal themselves through silence. You are not meant to be everywhere, you are meant to be remembered. Stop chasing recognition and start mastering scarcity. Your distance will do more for your reputation than your presence ever could. If this truth hits home, it's because you've been giving the world too much access to your worth. Take it back, reclaim your mystery, and subscribe, because in the next chapter, you'll learn how order and structure create unstoppable inner power. Why do you always feel like you're running but never arriving? Why does every victory fade into chaos the moment you stop focusing? Why do you keep building routines only to abandon them when life tests you? You call it burnout. But the truth is simpler. You're living without structure. and a life without order will always belong to disorder. You think freedom means doing whatever you want, but that's the lie that's been keeping you weak. Freedom without discipline is a slow form of destruction. You drift, distracted, overcommitted, always reacting to the loudest problem instead of the most important one. You chase motivation instead of building systems. You wait for inspiration instead of building consistency. But power isn't built in moments of passion, it's built in the monotony of discipline. That's why the truly powerful look calm. They move by design, not by emotion. You don't need more time. You need tighter boundaries. You don't need more motivation. You need fewer distractions. Order is not a cage, it's armor. The structure you resist is the structure that could have saved you. From this day forward, you live with intention. You start scheduling what matters instead of reacting to what doesn't. You build habits that hold you when motivation dies. Because order doesn't limit you, it liberates you from chaos. The mind that lives by design can't be defeated by chance. Structure is freedom disguised as discipline. Chaos will always test your walls, make sure you have them built. When your life has order, you don't need control, you are control. If this truth stings, it's because you've been drifting too long. Anchor yourself, reclaim your structure, and subscribe, because in the next chapter you'll learn the science of observation and how to see through people before they ever see through you. Why do you always see the truth too late? Why do people reveal who they are only after they've already taken what they wanted? Why do you keep saying I should have known when the signs were right in front of you? You don't lack intuition. You lack observation. Because you were too busy reacting to people's words instead of studying their behavior. You keep listening to what people say while ignoring what they show. They say I care, but avoid accountability. They say I'm honest, but flinch when you ask for transparency. Their body tenses when they lie. Their tone shifts when they feel guilty. Their eyes change when their intentions do. You miss it because your emotions are louder than their actions. But once you learn to observe, not to judge, not to assume, but to see, everything changes. You start reading people like open books. And that's when manipulation loses its power. Observation is more than seeing, it's silence trained to hear the truth. The less you talk, the more they reveal. People confess through habits, not honesty. You don't need to interrogate anyone. Just watch them long enough and their patterns will speak. From now on, stop explaining and start studying. Look past words. Listen to energy. Watch reactions, not reasons. Because every lie leaves fingerprints and every mask eventually slips. The one who observes never gets blindsided twice. Wisdom isn't about knowing more, it's about noticing sooner. Don't chase transparency. Earn it through silence and sight. You don't need to confront everyone, you just need to understand them before they understand you. If this truth resonates, it's because you've seen too much to stay naive. Stay silent. Stay watchful. And subscribe, because in the next chapter you'll learn how to kill the need for validation and reclaim your inner authority. Why do you need everyone to like you? Why does silence from others feel like rejection? Why do you keep chasing approval from people who wouldn't even notice your absence? You say you don't care what others think, but you check your phone the moment they stop responding. You post for connection but crave validation. And every time someone ignores you, you question your worth. That's not confidence, it's dependence disguised as kindness. You've spent your life being agreeable, available, understanding. You think that's love, but it's really fear. The fear of being disliked, the fear of standing alone. So you overgive, over-explain, over-apologize. And still it's never enough. Because people can sense when your peace depends on their approval, and they use it. They reward you when you please them and punish you when you don't. That's how control works, not through force, but through emotional addiction. Validation is a leash, and the world will keep pulling it until you finally cut it. The moment you stop needing to be understood, you become untouchable. You stop performing. You stop begging for recognition. And suddenly, silence feels like freedom, not punishment. You no longer chase reactions, you create your own reflection. You stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You realize approval was never peace. It was a contract built on insecurity. Now you choose solitude over validation, purpose over popularity. You don't need applause to have value. You don't need agreement to be right. The world's validation is fragile, but your self-respect is permanent. If this truth hits deep, it's because you're ready to stop performing for love and start living with sovereignty. Let this be your quiet rebellion. And subscribe, because in the next chapter, you'll learn how influence replaces approval and why control is the new form of confidence. Why do people keep using you while pretending to care? Why do you always end up the one who gives more, explains more, and loses more? Why do you keep believing words instead of patterns? You call yourself loyal, but loyalty without awareness is self-betrayal. You're not weak, you're just still playing checkers in a world full of chess players. You've mistaken honesty for strategy. You move with emotion, they move with calculation. You keep assuming others have the same intentions as you, but they don't. Most people don't act from morality, they act from motive. They don't want truth, they want leverage. They don't seek understanding, they seek advantage. And until you accept that, you'll keep getting blindsided by predictable deception. Influence isn't about manipulation, it's about control through awareness. When you see people's motives clearly, you stop personalizing their actions. You realize they're not good or bad, they're simply driven. And once you see the board, you stop being a pawn. You start playing the game. From now on, you study intention before interaction. You don't trust words, you test consistency. You stop reacting emotionally and start moving deliberately. Because influence isn't about changing others, it's about positioning yourself so they can't ignore you. The world isn't fair, it's strategic. Stop expecting loyalty from those who chase advantage. Learn to predict people, not pity them. Your calm observation will win battles that emotion never could. If this truth stings, it's because you've played the fool long enough. It's time to play the strategist. And subscribe, because in the next chapter, you'll learn the discipline of isolation, how solitude sharpens power and rebuilds identity. Why do you fear being alone so much? Why do you keep surrounding yourself with people who drain your peace? Why do you call it connection, when all it does is keep you distracted from yourself? You tell yourself you need community. But the truth is, you've been using noise to avoid silence. And deep down you know it. You're afraid of meeting the version of yourself that hides beneath the constant chaos. You've given your time, your energy, your empathy to people who never gave it back. You've been the listener, the fixer, the peacekeeper, but peacekeepers rarely have peace themselves. Every time you try to step away, guilt pulls you back. They say you've changed when you start protecting your boundaries, but that's what growth feels like to people who benefited from your weakness. Isolation isn't punishment, it's purification. It's where noise dies and truth begins to speak. The world tells you that solitude means loneliness, but that's a lie. Loneliness is emptiness. Solitude is power. When you isolate with intention, you stop needing constant validation. You stop chasing connection that costs you self-respect. And in that quiet, you finally hear your real voice again. Choose solitude the way others choose approval. Let it refine you, sharpen you, rebuild you. Because isolation isn't about escaping the world, it's about returning to yourself. In stillness, you remember who you were before the world told you who to be. You don't lose yourself by walking alone, you find yourself there. Silence heals what chaos hides. You don't need the crowd, you need clarity. If these words touch you, it's because you're ready to stop depending on others for meaning. Step back, regain your power. And subscribe, because in the next chapter you'll learn how to rebuild your mind from the inside out through mental architecture and control. Have you ever wondered who really controls your thoughts? Why do you crave what you never wanted before someone told you to? Why does your mood depend on headlines, algorithms, and opinions from people you'll never meet? You think you're free, but you're not. Your mind has been colonized, one scroll, one post, one emotional reaction at a time. Every ad, every trending topic, every outrage is designed to hijack your focus. They feed you fear because fear keeps you watching. They feed you validation because validation keeps you scrolling. And while you're distracted, you're being programmed, trained to react, not to think. You wake up anxious without knowing why. You chase approval without remembering when it started. The system doesn't need to chain you. It only needs to keep you entertained. Mind control doesn't look like brainwashing anymore. It looks like comfort. They don't have to silence you. They just flood you with noise until you silence yourself. The modern prison isn't made of walls, it's made of endless options. And the key to escape isn't rebellion, it's awareness. From now on, treat your mind like sacred territory. Guard what enters it, audit what influences it, unfollow chaos, choose what deserves your attention. Because every thought you allow builds or destroys your inner architecture. You can't control the world, but you can control the lens through which you see it. Reclaim your mental real estate. Detox from distraction. Think for yourself again. Your peace is the most valuable currency in a world designed to steal it. If this truth hits you, it's because you've felt it. You've sensed the quiet manipulation beneath the noise. Take your mind back before someone else owns it. And subscribe, because in the next chapter you'll learn how to rule your inner world like a sovereign, calm, clear, and untouchable. When did you stop feeling like yourself? When did your peace become something other people could steal? When did you start living for approval, routine, and noise instead of purpose? You've spent your life surviving other people's expectations, and somewhere along the way, you forgot who was supposed to be in charge. You don't need more control over others. You need control over you. You've tried to fix your environment, your job, your relationships, but nothing changes until the ruler of the kingdom wakes up, and that ruler is you. Your mind is your country. Your emotions are your citizens. If you let fear and guilt sit on the throne, chaos will rule your world. If you lead with discipline and calm, peace becomes law. Every thought you allow is a vote for the kind of empire you build. And every day you let distractions lead you, crown weakness as king. You thought power was about control over others. It's not. Real power is the ability to stay unmoved in a shaking world, to rule your mind even when life doesn't follow the plan. When you stop reacting, you stop obeying the chaos around you, and that's when sovereignty begins. From this day forward, your peace is not negotiable. Your focus is not for sale. You decide who enters your kingdom, what thoughts stay, and what emotions are exiled. You stop living like a citizen of the world and start ruling like its observer. The highest form of power is self-governance. When you command your inner world, the outer world follows your tone. You are not lost. You are just dethroned by distraction. Reclaim your crown. Rule quietly. Rule completely. If this truth resonates, it's because you've always known you were meant to lead yourself. Subscribe, because in the final chapter, you'll learn how to become truly untouchable, calm in the storm, free in the noise, and sovereign in silence. How many times did you break before you realized no one was coming to save you? How many betrayals did it take before you stopped expecting loyalty from chaos? How many storms did you survive before you understood peace was never outside? It was always inside. You kept thinking the test was about endurance. It wasn't. It was about transformation. You weren't meant to stay soft. You were meant to become untouchable. You've been lied to, doubted, underestimated, and still you're here. Every scar became a signature. Every silence a statement. You've been called cold for protecting your peace, distant for guarding your focus, selfish for choosing yourself. But they never understood that distance isn't arrogance, it's defense. You learned that power isn't loud and healing isn't public. You learned that being misunderstood is the tax of being sovereign. And now, nothing outside of you can shake what you've built inside. The truth is, being untouchable doesn't mean you feel nothing. It means nothing controls what you feel. You still care, but strategically. You still love, but wisely. You move with silence because words are no longer your battlefield. Presence is. This is your evolution. The world hasn't gotten easier. You've just gotten stronger. You've stopped chasing justice, revenge, or validation. Now you walk through fire without burning through lies, without explaining through chaos, without reacting. You no longer fight the storm, you are the calm within it. You are no longer a victim of circumstance. You are the architect of peace, the master of emotion, the ruler of mind. You are the storm disguised as silence. If these words resonate, it's because you've finally met the version of yourself the world could never break. Own it, live it, protect it, and subscribe, because this isn't the end. It's the beginning of your next empire, the life of the untouchable.